I'd like some truths. Where is the truths today? I'll do some truths. We want some truths today. Here is some truths right now. The truths. Dum 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 dum. Truths. Hello, it's Truths on the Move today, where I analyse the news to see if we can find out, is there a divine truth behind the material realm? We can tune into that, bring about a new, glorious, utopian society. Oh no, no, no! Just going to try and do that. Look in the front of the car. It's a lovely White House station. Driving along. Brian! 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 Are you a good little boy? Brian! 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 Brian? You alright, darling? You doing that thing where a dog goes round and round, but this time in the front of a car? This is life. This is life. Don't say this isn't. It is. Official! Beware house price bubble. What? A bubble of house prices? Britain is on the verge of a dangerous housing bubble, the Treasury Chief watchdog warned yesterday. What is this world? A bubble? A watchdog? Is this the Beano? Nest eggs? Build a million nest egg? With a bubble and a watchdog? Is this a poem? It's first blood to Farage. In ill-tempered TV duel, UKIP chief gets the public vote as he takes on clegg over migrants, EU and jobs. A snap poll. So that just means quick and not thorough and biased. Biased to have an outcome that we would like. Poll has revealed that Nigel Farage won a live televised debate with Nick Clegg over Britain's future in the EU, which saw the two party leaders clash angrily. Nick Clegg was seen to have blundered by suggesting cars from the rest of the EU of better quality made in the UK. His most effective attacks during the LBC debate hosted by radio presenter Nick Ferrari. Hey man, I'm Nick Ferrari. I'd like you to come on my show. Bow bow, hey man. Yeah, I'm Nick Ferrari. Here are some things I know. I'm just a man on the radio. Here's Nick Clegg, here's Nigel Farage. Neither of them have relevant views. None of them should be in the news. None of them have real integrity. None of them care about you or me. None of them have a soul. Both of them are a pair of meaningless establishment assholes. I just made that up. Trust me. Trust old Russ. Dark side of the moon. Why you're more likely to have weird and wonderful dreams on certain nights. Now they're entering into the realm of mysticism, aren't they? Slept badly? Question mark. Had a strange dream? Question mark. Blame the moon. Thank you. Alright, I slept badly and I've had a bad dream. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going round and round in circles as a result of activity billions of years ago. Well, that's all well and good. But I dreamt that my dad came out of some woods and he was naked and he had an erection. Then as he approached me, he detached his erection, it became a club, and he clubbed me over the head with his erection, which was, you know, as I say, now a club. Then I looked at his face and he was crying, and out of the tears, each of them contained a childhood memory of when he had hurt me, and as they landed on the earth, a flower grew, but then the flowers grew and they started to attack me. So stop it! That's not an actual dream of mine, just so you know, I improvised that. But I did improvise it from my own brain, so it doesn't have zero meaning. People have more weird and wonderful dreams around the time of the full moon, a British study found. Psychologist Richard Wiseman, that's his name, he's made that up, hasn't he? Made the surprise discovery as he analysed the experiences of 1,000 volunteers who had played sounds as they slept. Play some sounds while they sleep. Are you sure, Professor? It sounds almost too scientific. He said, for instance, someone might dream that they are flying on a dragon, then get off the dragon and go have a cup of coffee with George Clooney. Well, I wonder what could have inspired an association in their dreams between George Clooney and coffee. Could it be the bombardment of George Clooney drinking coffee images that they were dealing with while they were awake? Some people dreamt they were superheroes. They thought they were Batman or Superman fighting crime. Childish dream. Whereas most dreams are very pedestrian, things like being in the office all day typing. Don't dream things you could do anyway, it's a waste of a dream. Of course there's a relationship between it. If the moon is affecting the tides, and the tides are made of water, if the moon's affecting women's menstrual cycles, and humans are made of water, and the mind is what, electricity and water, yeah, the moon probably does do it. We are the same as the moon, we come from the same explosion as the moon, we are intimately connected, implicitly connected to the moon and our environment. We are one with our environment. Read James Lovelock's Gaia theory. All of the organisms of this earth are harmoniously interacting, and presumably beyond even the earth, and presumably beyond the gross and identifiable material and less obvious materials, metaphysical materials, mystical materials, quantum materials. All things are connected and are one. So we should live in harmony with our environment, harmony with one another, instead of finding erroneous, duplicitous, deceptive, unnecessary, spurious reasons to be divided from one another. Like, for example, stockpiling of morning after pill will fuel promiscuity. They mentioned this yesterday, they're really into it today. No, it won't. Stop it. Shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Jeanne Moir and Alison Boshoff attack Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow for being human and having human emotions. God, we're more likely to believe in the supernatural. If you believe in ghosts, panic when you break a mirror and would rather walk on the road than under a ladder, you're not alone. Oh, ain't I? No. In fact, Britons are more likely to have faith in the supernatural than in God, a survey has found. Well, God is a supernatural concept. It's sort of beyond the material understanding, isn't it? That's supernatural, beyond natural, uber natural, beyond the natural parameters. One poll asked 2,000 adults a series of questions about their beliefs and weighted the results to make them reflect the population as a whole. That's what all surveys do. Weighted it. Right, now pretend it's everyone. Okay. The survey also provided a fascinating insight to the grip that superstition has on our lives. A third of Britons consider themselves superstitious, with walking under a ladder most likely to be linked with bad luck. I mean, there is some logic to that. I mean, what's going on up the top of that ladder? Probably a person doing something, so they might drop stuff. So that superstition really is just a sort of a rule. It's just a rule that's entered our culture. Breaking a mirror, bringing 7 years of misfortune, is the second most commonly held superstition. Well, that's because it's the abstraction of the self reflected back at you, and the mirror is representative of the self. You don't want to break yourself, I suppose. It's like, so there's an obvious mystical idea, the fragmentation of the self. You want the self to be maintained, so there's even a sort of quite a rational thing with that. Touching wood, taking third place. Some say that's because of the cross upon which Christ died, but another way of looking at it is that we have to remain grounded and connected to nature. So there's a rationale behind all these rituals. These rituals, in fact, tie us back to our indigenous, original nature. Superstition is when we forget why we have it. We need rituals. We need to be connected to one another and connected to the earth. When we're in more trouble is when we believe in nothing at all, when we're in a nihilistic wasteland where our beliefs are established and dictated by evil organisations such as this one. The Krays! The bloody bastards! Still quite glamorous, aren't they, the old Krays, to this day. Basically, it's quite nice to see people who are good at fighting, wearing a nice suit and having lustrous head of hair, and still being good at fighting. Bethnal Green Hardman, Chunky Morgan, lifts two other members of the gang. Chunky Morgan. Sounds like lovely, doesn't he? Chunky Morgan would kill you for a shiny new penny. You can see why they were gay, because there's this powerful homoerotic air. Certainly not a joke I would have made around Whitechapel 40 years ago, where I live. I live around there now. I certainly wouldn't go around saying, the Krays, the gays. I wouldn't have said that then, because I would be killed. Really though, what it was is they were a couple of working class men who played by the same rules that rich elites play by today. They'll do whatever it takes to get whatever they want, and if the rules don't suit them, they'll change the rules or break the rules. These things are going on now, but it's just not glamorous people with great hair. It's massive companies and the very newspaper that you're reading about this in. Here's a bit of information might be useful from this book I read, yeah. Because some objects remain in the consciousness while others pass through, your sense of awareness relates to them more. You use them as fixed points to create a sense of orientation, relationship and security in the midst of constant inner change. And this need for orientation extends for the outside world. Although you are clinging to inner objects, you all use them to orient and relate yourself to the multitude of physical objects that come in through your senses. You then create thoughts that tie all the objects together and you cling to this entire structure. I've got a belief about who I am. Gareth, who's holding the camera, has got a belief about who he is. All of us, you watching, have a belief about who you are. If those beliefs are not serving you and not making you happy, you can change these beliefs. It's a kind of form of self-hypnosis. These organisations help to hold that belief system together. Mostly you probably feel a bit lonely, do you? a bit self-conscious and a bit afraid. That's okay, we all do. We're not being stimulated, we're not being given the necessary cohesive tools to organise ourselves into the kind of tribal societies that we were designed to live in order to successfully live harmoniously with the planet. But luckily, as this little bookie book told us, we can change that. That was some truths today. You didn't tell us how to change, I'll do that tomorrow. The truths today. Subscribe here by clicking on this nipple skull. I think Brandon may have disgraced himself by allowing his little dog's body to dilate. Some gases have come out into our world here. Some things that are inside the dog are outside the dog now.